Hello everyone, I think it's about time we actually start a farm, as these are some of the last pork chops I have, and honestly I don't want to be killing that many more piggies. So I'm thinking of making this area, the farming area. I got quite a bit of dirt, so we can fill up the terrain. And while doing so, I also got some stone, that way we can continue this cliff line. And we can also get a little bit more dirt while we're at it as well, I suppose. Because this has to go back quite a bit. Alright, let's see, how do we want to do this? So I do have somewhat of a plan. I want to have a road that goes over that way, because that is where spawn is. So let's make the road somewhere around here. So seeing as our paths are 3 blocks wide, I'm thinking of making this a 5 wide area. There we go, and then we can have the stairs somewhere around here. And then it has like grass growing on the sides. I think that would look nice. The basic shape of this area is done. We will detail it later. Of course, also the hill has to be brought up, or the cliff face. Now, for now, though, we will have to fill in all these holes. Because I want to start with a flat area, and if we want to change elevation, we will do that later. But I doubt I'll really be going down. What the heck? Why does it feel like he's dealing so much more damage suddenly? That is kind of weird. Alright, well, we have another problem. That was all the dirt I had. Alright, armed with some new tools. Let's see where we want to start digging all the dirt away. Because we're going to need quite a bit. It's not just for that area, but we also eventually need dirt to make this area look a little better. As there is quite a large wall right now. We also need a ton of wood for today's project as well. I'm thinking maybe beyond those mountains over there, we could potentially start digging stuff away. And chopping trees. We also need some glass. Alright, creeper. Ow. That was ping-ponged back to me. That was not the plan. On the way towards the desert where we start digging sand, I'm thinking maybe of just digging somewhere like up this hill. That is still kind of nearby our base, so it might not look the best, but I do have some idea for it. And I think it could be an interesting visual piece when we make the road towards spawn. The question is, do we really want to do that right here? Right, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna clear out some layers of dirt on this terrain still. Because if we're gonna make a path here, I don't want to have it too noisy and too hilly. And I think this plateau right here would be a nice height. We could set up a little campsite and potentially some other things. We'll have to come up with some ideas. But I will probably lower this anyway. So we may as well do it now while we need the dirt. And I would have done the path first, but seeing as I kind of want to have the farm in place and done, so we have basically an infinite amount of food, I did decide to prioritize that first. Right, we got a couple stacks. That should be fine. Let's chop down all the trees around here as well. We'll burn down the leaves later, or manually cut them down. We'll see. Alright, that's all the dirt I had, but we do have quite a nice canvas to work with now. Annoyingly, though, it is getting nighttime. But while it is, I want to mark out where some of the buildings will go and how the path is going to go. Come on, creeper. Man. He was so far away, man. And I actually think he did blow up a bunch of blocks this time, which is weird because I don't think they did. I thought they dropped every block. The dude didn't even drop enough blocks to fix up the top layer. What the heck? Alright, I created something of an outline. So the dotted cobblestone is where the path is going to go. There'll be a small shack over here. There'll be a dock here where you can fish on. Then this large building is going to be a greenhouse. These middle blocks represent where some water is going to go. Because I want to have dirt here and then have the wheat grow on top. And then I do want to go up the hill and potentially place a windmill. If I can pull that off. Because windmills are hard, but they are damn cool. And while it is nighttime, I'm gonna dig up some more dirt. The pigs hear that I'm building a farm and don't need to kill them, and they all start showing up. What the heck, man? Alright, let's see. We're gonna have this rather large area for this. We start, like, over here. I don't want to have an outline made of wood. Alright, so this is gonna be the basic shape. It's gonna be rather large. Alright, let's build a well somewhere first, so I can have an infinite water source. So what block will we make this well out of? Well, let's just do cobblestone for right now, and we'll think about that later. You know, I say while I'm right next to the bloody lake. Alright, so this is going to be a layered farm design, and I wanna have this first water flow come from the mountain itself. I think that could look pretty cool. Let's see, I doubt we're gonna get seeds from this, because I think we need specifically from grass. Yep. Why is this turning back to dirt? Is it when we walk over it in this version? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not good. So we also need a path. Right. Let's say that the path is just gonna be, like, alongside here. Right, then the next question is, how far do I want this to go? Because this is gonna go 8 blocks. Right, I got this little river flowing through here. Right, I think this is nicely enclosed with a palisade wall. Maybe some jack-o'-lanterns for lighting over there. Or additional lighting, maybe, because we don't actually have that many anymore. There are a couple still in the mine shaft, but I don't think that many either. Alright, those were all the jack-o'-lanterns we had. That actually did light up most of it, which is good. Alright, it is time to get a bunch of seeds. And looking at the durability, these hoes go real quick. And of course, it is also a low chance or something that they spawn. What the heck, man? Yep, that was half the durability of that one gone. And we have 3 seeds. And of course, with a couple pops, we have another 3 of them. But this hoe seems to be a lot better of getting the seeds, that's for sure. Alright, I got 20 of them, which surely isn't enough. But what I'm hoping is that they drop more than 1 seed. Oh, man. Okay, so even watered ground can still be trampled. That's brutal. With that revelation, though, I do think starting on the greenhouse might be the best next thing. Because at least in the greenhouse, the crops won't easily get trampled. Alright, I'm gonna have some cobblestone as floor in this place. I think this is gonna require a lot more glass. But I think I have the shape in mind that I want. Nice, even the spiders cannot climb in there. We're at least boxed in with a 2-high wall. That's also pretty much all the glass. Alright, let's plant an infinite water source underneath that. And then all this is going to turn into... Right, I forgot it's gonna look like this. Change of plan, I suppose, with the middle part. Alright, so now we got something like so. Now let's add a fence. I think we're gonna get a fence in the middle now. We'll just put it up there, and then I guess we just try this. Alright, well, imagine that this is a little hose of some kind. You know, every time I see one of these greenhouses, there's one thing I think about, and that is a secret tunnel entrance. Reason why is because I probably watched way too much X Adventures in Minecraft. That's how he originally made a entrance into his greenhouse. And it sounds like a fun idea. And this is a project I'll probably work on during the night times. And as it is turning daytime, I guess we'll go back inside and make some tools. The big thing we need now is more sand. I think about 1.5 stacks of glass will probably get us to finish up the greenhouse. Seems like some mobs are trampling all our crops here too. Oh my god. Sometimes I wonder why I just keep on walking into the dude's line of fire. And then I remember, me stupid. I will admit I'm surprised that I only died twice in the like 15 or 16 hours playtime. Because with my stupidity, I thought it would be way more than that. You know, I got to thinking about this underground tunnel idea. We could potentially use it to farm mushrooms down there, because they need to grow in a darker place. Alright, while the glass is smelting, I think I'll just start on the path, continuing it. Alright, the path seemingly just ends right here, but... you know, that's because we haven't done anything here yet. Eventually, I would like to connect it up to the mines, but I want to see how we're going to terraform this land before I do that. As that is highly going to depend on what the heck and the height levels we're going to have over here. Right, path to the fishing hut that hasn't been built yet is done. I might just sprinkle in a couple extra blocks here and there on the corners, just to make it look a little wider at times. But yeah, there's going to be some fences and other stuff around, so it isn't just going to look flat like this. And of course, now we're gonna have to build it this way. Alright, sweet, the path to that... Alright, sweet, the path to the greenhouse is finished. I would just need to get it up that hill. But it is getting nighttime once again. So I'm gonna work on the greenhouse some more. We really have to light up, like, the plateau up here, man. I keep seeing creepers spawn on there. That is not good. Alright, the greenhouse is done, and from back here... looks pretty nice. I'm slowly converging all the wheat that grows here to the inside. And I started on the secret tunnel as well. Yeah, this wheat field is not gonna last long because look at all this, man. It just gets trampled so quickly. Because of those fools up there. Right, the path is done. The wheat is slowly growing. I think I may as well just use up the entire hoe. There we go. Got one more seed. And let's use a bit of gravel and stone, I guess, because I accidentally placed that. Make a one white path. And this path just kind of goes around the farm, so we actually have some place to walk on. Alright, I think that looks like a decent path. I think ultimately we're probably not going to be able to use this farm often, because it's going to get trampled a lot, which kind of sucks. I didn't think it would be that bad. I'm actually wondering about something. So I placed a spot down to build a fisherman's house, as well as a dock behind this tree here. I actually don't even remember if fishing was part of the game. If it is, though, that could be a really good food source. Alright, let's see, how do we make this? It is part of the game. Hold up a second. We should only get raw fish from this. Yes. Right, so that's another food source right there. And because there is no hunger, you can actually eat them raw too. And it doesn't get any, like, hunger effect. Because again, there is no hunger. So if I'm really in a bind, I can fish for food as well. We can cook it. Actually, can we cook it? Okay, we can cook it. That's good. I do have some pork chops, so I'm going to cook those as well. And I think we're going to work on the fisherman's hut next. It is kind of weird though, having to relearn what is and isn't in the game. It's this really strange feeling, because you know the world, and you know everything that's in it. But it's like you traveled back to the past, and so a lot of things are just not possible. I guess you could see it like electronics, right? I don't know how the heck to make those. So while I know that a lot of things are going to be easier with electronic devices, I can't really make use of them even in the past, because I don't know how to make them. That'd be my analogy for this, I suppose. You're stuck in a time knowing of all these things in the future that will make life better and easier, but you can't use any of it. So it's kind of pointless to you. Well, this is the reason why we need a secret tunnel out of here. They're all waiting for me, man. I do have the issue now, though, that, as you can see, there is a bunch of grass here. We are very close to the surface. Now, ultimately, I don't think it matters that much. But there are going to be some layers above this still. So I'm not too worried about sticking out. However, that does mean we have like one layer of dirt and then there's a tunnel underneath. But hey, it's turning daytime, which means it's time for the fishing hut. So I had a cool roof design in mind. I'm questioning if I can even do that, because I wanted to have a like sloped roof, kind of like this, right? Where it's slabs that go down. Now you don't have top slabs, so it has to be a full block. So it's going to look something like this. I just think that the cobblestone was supposed to be a full block of the same color. However, the only slabs we have is this stone. Because there's no wooden slabs yet, or at least I don't see the recipe for it. Because this is a pressure plate, as you can see. Interesting. Also not a pressure plate I'm going to be using, apparently. And it's gone. Okay, well, yeah. I'm going to need some wood. So, I guess I'll be thinking about that while I'm chopping trees down. Because I was actually planning on using those slabs as the floor. But maybe I'll just use smooth stone as a floor base. Because basically, right, I don't want to have it wood or something like that. Because I think in a fishing shop, and there's going to be a lot of water on the floor at all times. I know this is Minecraft and it doesn't really matter that much, but I guess you can put a coating on the wood as well in real life, which stops it from rotting away. Just imagine now that we do that to the outside, because I was gonna make the walls out of planks. I know it sounds like weird rambling, but those are kind of the restrictions I like to put on myself while building. Kind of keep it into a still realistic vibe, as I think that just makes the building process a lot more fun. I also planted some saplings next to the house. That is for a project later, but we won't be doing that today. But that's just so they can start growing. Let's put in all the corner pieces. This one is in the water, so that goes all the way down. I guess this one may as well too. Then the question will become, do we want to have the door on the front or on this side? This is already connected to the path, which leads to the dock. So it probably makes more sense, right? So yeah, I guess the door is going to be over here. The floor is going to be smooth stone. You know, I'm looking at this and basically the entire building is a window. Alright, well, it's already turning nighttime. That went a lot faster than I expected. Alright, we're almost there. with the secret tunnel. Doesn't really seem like we need to dig up. Maybe by 1 block? That's about it. This layer is like spot on. We dug through. Yeah, so it literally is 1 block off. There's a bunch of coal hiding under here. Okay, what the heck, man? These are like 3 full veins of coal that lead into each other. Wow, that was exactly 64 coal. That is weird. Alright, but we will deal with this later, as it is daytime. And I want to make some progress on this fishing hut again. But what I will do real quick is hide all the cobblestone. There we go. See, do I want to have it stick out one? Might look cooler. So if the demonstration I gave in the inventory wasn't clear enough, I'm going for a staircase design like this. Okay, that looks so odd. This does mean though that I can increase the window sizes. Alright, time to give this fisherman a tiny home. You know, I think I'm gonna change out this with gravel. This being the block underneath the door. So it kind of looks like you're kicking in rocks as you walk in. Maybe I will have the bed the opposite direction. But yeah, I think I liked it a bit better. And honestly, I don't think we can do much more here. But we'll come back to the rest of this in the morning, because we still have the dock to do, and I want to fix that because it looks very flat. For now though, let's actually give this a proper entrance. And with that I just mean we put in a door. Then over here I'm just gonna block this off, like so. You know, back in the day, if we wanted to keep something secret, put a painting on it. I would like to get a full 3x3. Actually, I don't think those exist, do they? Now, let's have the 1x2. Come on. Give it to me. There we go. Totally nothing weird. It's just an art piece. But then, you actually walk through it, and you come into a secret tunnel. I do quite like those. We're actually running really low on iron, so I should do some caving soon. But for now, I want to change out the floor with the remainder of this, these slabs. So my plan for this hallway is going to be something like this. These are slabs, so nothing can spawn on it. I don't think they would have anyway, because we got quite a lot of torches here. You know, I've been thinking, I think I've spent more time in this world than I have in the more recent updates on Minecraft in a while. I really should have done this earlier, going back to the alpha version. It's just a breath of fresh air, I don't know why. You would think it's the same game, but it really isn't. Because I mainly play on servers these days, with some friends. And even then, I just get bored real quick. I think everyone is kind of having that issue as well, which probably doesn't help. Like everyone in my friend group anyway. But I may have found the secret. Just play this 15-year-old version. I'm not 100% sure if I want to do something like so. In this tunnel. Like everywhere where the torches are, just have a support beam. That could look interesting. But I do think I want to have the dirt and rock showing. I think that gives a bit more character than just a flat tunnel. But with that, the tunnel is pretty much finished. Now I can get the heck out of here. I've been going crazy, man. These spiders, they're so bloody loud. Alright, to make this look a little less flat, what I'm thinking is to just put some stairs up here. That will create a little indent, and that should create at least some shape. It does look a little better. I think it works a little less there, but it should be fine. Of course, that also means we're going to have to do it on this side. Alright, and with that, let's start working on the dock. It's going to be very basic. You know, I placed these stairs here, but I'm not sure if I like that. I think if they could be waterlogged, that'd be looking good. But, you know, I'll keep it for now. And there we go. I changed the path up a little bit. The pig seems to agree. Or maybe not, he just headbutted me. Right, in this house, there's going to be the fishing rod. And I've been thinking about the well. And I think I'm just going to make it out of these smooth stone slabs. Right, however, the corners are going to be logs. Alright, let's have some pathing. And that goes to most of the sides, except for this one. Well, maybe, you know what? You can just do it something like so. I don't think it's my finest work, but I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with the well. I don't really want to give it a roof, because it's gonna, like, block a lot of the views we have of the buildings. So we might just leave it like this. The crafting table here, I think, is fine. Now we just gotta decorate the path a little bit. Huh, would you look at that? A free pork chop. I guess the bridge is dangerous for the animals. Alright, time to turn all these pumpkins, these are the last remainders that we got, into jack-o'-lanterns. Which sadly did not get us very far. Well, broke an entire stone hoe just for 4 seeds. Alright, I did some decorating. I think I really need to go out, get some more pumpkins at some point. As well as flowers, because I ran out of the red ones. We have no more pumpkins left for lighting, because I like to use those instead of the torches. Oh sweet, we can actually put boats down as well. That means we can make some of those wheelbarrows. I usually make those with fence gates. We don't have those, of course, in this version, so I was wondering how I was gonna do that. But I guess boats will work. You know, I'm not 100% sure on this design. It's supposed to look like a very small tool shack. But I might just make it slightly larger. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'll keep it for now. And we'll decide on that later. You know, he's pushing the wheelbarrow around. I guess I cannot go into boats then in this version either. Well, I guess that's good to know. It's starting to look pretty nice, even at nighttime. I do think we've run into the issue now, where I really just ran out of decorative resources. Ow, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why the hell does he deal so much damage suddenly? Those 2 shots, man. Ooh, 2 of my armor pieces have broken, eh? But we also need just a better storage system. Because it's getting to the point where, as you can see, it is very messy. And I'm running out of space. So I think the inside of the house is going to be one of the next things that we'll tackle. And then we might do some exploration as well, because, again, we're going to need a lot of decorative items. Like, especially pumpkins, we need more flowers. Sugarcane, I'm low on as well, but that should be fine, because we can just harvest these and they'll grow back anyway. I can't wait to put the windmill on top. Then some of you also suggested a tower. I've seen multiple comments about that. I guess it truly is one of those nostalgic things that I really want to put in the world as well. Because everyone used to build those towers. One of the suggestions was specifically the tower that they use in the Minecraft movie. Which I don't remember what it looks like, and I couldn't find any reference images. So until I think we can watch that movie on, like, Blu-ray or something, we're gonna put a pin in that. But I'm thinking of building it on top of that hill, and then we can have a windmill on there. The road that goes along like that, and that also connects up to spawn. We will need a proper sugarcane farm too, because we're going to need books and bookshelves for decoration. And we're going to need a lot of paper for that. So we'll probably do that somewhere in the back there maybe, because all that space still has to be filled up as well. I want to make a pumpkin patch. It kind of looks like we're farming those, so gonna need a lot of pumpkins. And yeah, again, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments down below. I'm writing down all your guys' ideas, and we'll get to them at some point. So for now, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.